Hello, everybody, and welcome into a new episode of Between the Eers. I'm Skylar Callan. Before we get started, make sure you hit that subscribe button here on our YouTube page at West Virginia on SI and give us a follow on X at SI_WVU. Today, we have now former West Virginia center Brandon Yates. No, he's not one of the guys that's entering the portal. He's going to the NFL, folks. It's finally time for Brandon to take his talents to the next level. It seems like it's been a while. You're one of the guys that stuck around for a while. You've been part of this team really since 2019 and even going back to 2018 when you committed to West Virginia. So let's start there. Let's start with your career at WVU. Obviously, you were recruited by Dana Holgerson. You
Yep.
come in, Neal Brown gets the head coaching job. You go through the rebuilding stage there in the first couple of years with Neal Brown. You get things going. Just talk about some of the highs and lows in your career and in the program as a whole in that time.
Yeah, just coming in 2019. I came in kind of later, due to some academic things. From transferring from Delaware to Las Vegas, academics are very different. So like I came in late. Um, I guess we could kind of go back and start how the recruitment process after Dana Hogerson um left the team. I mean, I found out New Year's Day that he left. We really us like commits and people that signed really didn't get a heads up. So that was a pretty hard thing to overcome. Then when they finally got a coach and Neal Brown came and I guess kind of re-recruited us, you know what I mean? Because you could have got a waiver, you
Yeah.
recruited us. Um, Coach Moore, he flew out to Las Vegas to saw me out there, and I went on another official visit, and I felt really comfortable with the coaching staff, and they really made me feel welcomed, and it didn't really feel like I was going through a whole new process. Kind of felt like normal, kind of felt like home. 2018 came in late. The team, I think not a lot of people. I think a lot of people look at Neal Brown and look at it as his product on the field and never really understand the process he went through. 2019, like kids are transferring left and right. Once Danner left, like it was, I'll
That
say
team
like
was gutted.
maybe, yeah, there was like 50 to 60% of the team left, and he got like literally a skeleton of the team came there, and then that following spring he didn't get a full spring ball. I had 2 days of spring ball my freshman year. Then COVID came around,
Yep.
so yeah, and then COVID hit. Then we didn't come back until I think mid-July, you know, and recruiting at that point was hard and tough. You know what I mean? He had to do virtual meetings to do even like visits and stuff like that. So at 2020 team, at 2019 team and 2020 team was really hard to even overcome, you know. But yeah, then 2020 was my first year ever. Was it my first year starting? It went well, you know. Got some couple accolades, you know. I mean, did out there, did my thing. I mean, I was a 19-year-old kid going out there and just doing my best during COVID, you know, figuring it out. In 2021, I mean, things are still we still coming off COVID. Things are changing.
Right.
And then things are still going my way. Career was going really well at that time, and the team is okay. It was just it's hard to overcome those years of 2019 and 2020. We really didn't have a chance to really be able to build and the transfer portal just opened up around that time. But before the time of NIL, like it was really hard to get people to come, especially after COVID, because everybody's used to being home and closer to home. So it was really hard to get guys to come and come and visit West Virginia and come stay there in West Virginia. Um, and I was there and I did pretty decent, did a pretty decent year that year as well. We was able to beat VTech. I mean, there was a lot of good games that year, 2021. And then 2022, I guess 2022 was probably my hardest year of my career, just based on the fact that I was facing a lot of injuries that off season, like a lot of nagging stuff. I just didn't play. I just didn't really develop that year how I wanted to, and really play. Really wanted to develop how I wanted to in the weight room and conditioning wise, and I just didn't. That 2022 year wasn't my best year, I would say. For that team, I mean, that was on paper that was supposed to be the team. That was supposed to be kind of changing. A lot of things just didn't pan out. Like JT didn't really pan out that well. He got hurt and stuff like that. Um, that team was just 2022 was just tough. I would say
Yeah.
that. Yeah. So yeah, then 2023 came around, and I think that year was a lot different for a lot of guys on the team because people that was there on that 2023 team was like team that was people that just wanted to be there and wanted to succeed, you know. Wanted to play hard and just wanted. That's what I liked about that team. That team, we had a bunch of guys that overlooked, and just guys and everybody's looking at us down. It was that we was motivated people. We had us last in the league.
Yeah.
We was just a motivated team, and we was wanted to just play hard, and Coach Brown, he did a good job in just keeping us motivated every single day and going out there and work really hard. And we actually had some good guys that embodied that hard work and go out there and do the hard things the right way. Off season was good. The team worked out pretty good. It was great energy. The coaches, we was all in sync that season, 2023 season, and that season went well for me. I was able to get my body better, a lot better body maintenance. That was the first time playing guard. My first 3 years of college, I played tackle. That's a complete different change because I played tackle throughout my high school career. Um, so then, yeah, just that was my first time playing like interior position. That went pretty well for me. That was a little more of a good little shift for me. So I was able to, I guess, put the different things on film, and I was able to, I guess, do more. It was a little more natural for me, my natural position. That season went pretty well. The team was in sync, and then we had this year, you know, uh, my first year ever playing center. I get a lot
Yeah.
of flack for a lot of people don't understand that. It's my first year ever
That's
playing
that's a
center.
difficult transition. I
Yeah,
mean, you went
yeah.
from tackle to guard to center. I mean, that's a lot of movement.
Yeah, all within a year. People don't understand that. This is
Yeah.
all within like a year. Was a year I was a tackle, another year I was a guard, another year I was a center. I don't know a lot of people. I get a lot of flack for that, but I understand it. I'm at the highest level, so I should get uh, most critics. So I understand that. I don't ever get mad at people for being criticizing me and criticizing my play on there. And I go out there and try to do my best thing. Whatever my team, I prided myself. Whatever my team needed me to do, I went out there and did it, and I tried to do it to the best of my ability. When they needed me to play guard, I played guard. Whenever they needed me to play center, I played center. So I did things. Sometimes it might not have been best for me, but it's best for the team. I went out there and did the best thing I can do. And I think I did a pretty good job this year with playing center, just doing like controlling the games and getting the right calls and I did a lot of things that I think not a lot of people understand, but everybody just really just what they see is what they think is going on, But it is what it is. But I mean, this season, like, why I chalk it down is people just look at the product of the season, and I chalk it down as like this season was a mixture of just a lot of it was high expectations, you know, and rightfully so. We had a good season 2023, so it was a lot of expectations, high expectations. So it was a lot of pressure on us. I mean, there's a lot of pressure on us to be perfect, I would say. And I think we kind of got in a situation where we was more worried about being perfect and trying to do everything rather than just go out there how we was 2023 and just go out there and just play. And I think it really came. And as a team that we should have brought each other together more and fixed the situations a lot better. But I mean, it was tough. It was tough. I mean, we was getting it from all angles.
Oh yeah.
It was yeah, it was getting from all angles. The fans was on us. And we was holding each other to a high standard. And, it's just we just weren't meeting it. And I think people get on Coach Brown about like they say we weren't a tough team. We weren't this. We weren't that. Like nothing against Rich Rod or anything, or you know what I mean. I think for sure that we were a hard nosed, tough team. If you watch our front seven on both sides, we got after it in every single game. We never just got pushed around. We never just got moved around. And I think it comes down to I tweeted about this. It comes down to individual basis, like you know what I mean. If it all comes down to who you are between those lines and who you are as a player. You know what I mean. As a group, like other teams said that we were a physical team. When we played West Virginia, it's gonna be a hard nosed game. Front seven, we always went out there and moved people around. You can turn on that film, and you see how many people are on the ground after every single play. We know how to get after it. Every single play, every single game. We got after it, and we can control and how the ball where the ball's getting ran. We can't control where the ball's getting thrown, but we control how physical we can play up front. And we did the things. And people look at us and think we didn't play that well. We didn't run the ball that well. We didn't do this so well. We didn't score a whole bunch of points. I mean, it's kind of hard to run the ball when you have a loaded box
Yeah.
every single time we run the ball. People know we're going to run the ball. We're going to have a loaded box.
That's the bread and
Even,
butter right there.
yeah, but even when we do run the ball, even when we do run the ball against loaded boxes, we still held our own. We
Yeah.
still able to get the yardage that we need to do. I mean, from this last year to this year, we're only down what 19 yards per game. Really, it wasn't that big of a drop off.
Yeah.
You know what I
And
mean?
that's losing a top guy that you had to replace was Zach
Yeah,
Frazier, and that's a
yeah,
big loss. But like you said, you stepped in, you took over the center control, did a really good job doing so. But what was it? Do you think like was there any one specific thing this season that you felt was maybe the catalyst for everything to kind of start going the other way? Because like I don't know about you, but like from our perspective. And I don't know, maybe this is just a complete, misread of the situation, but it felt like the pit loss was kind of where it felt like there was maybe a sense of even more pressure than there was going into the season because you lose a game like that to your better rival. You had a 10-point
yeah.
lead. Is that kind of where maybe the pressure really heightened, do you think?
I think the pressure was really heightened when like that Penn State game, we went out there and I
Sure.
think
Yeah.
we did a pretty good job against Penn State, but I think that's a game we should have won. We all like every we know how talented we are as a team, and we look at each other, we look down, we look at each position, and we know exactly how talented we are. And I think we go down the line, and before the season we went down the line and go every each individual spot that we were lined up talent wise, head to head. We had just as much talent as they did. Right. What it came down to was execution. I think we just failed a lot in execution standpoint. When we had the right play in the right situation at the right time, we just didn't execute as a team, And it also comes down to like, some guys wasn't really bought into the system,
Mhm.
and I think some guys it actually really comes down to it. Like we can see guys who are not bought into fully to the system
Oh yeah.
because there'll be a disconnect on the field sometimes. Like sometimes there'll be 10 of guys going out and doing the right things and be one guy messing up. So I think that's what really messed because we seen it more and more happening was like the small things being messed up. Like 2023, we fixed those small things and we attacked those small things. But when we this year, the biggest problem was what we those small things weren't being corrected all the time and very much often, and it was just small things started adding up, and then it wasn't like we everybody it was the pressure from the pit game. It was just like man, like those small things we were just not doing the small things
Yeah.
consistently, and that's what really messed us up in the long run.
So you really felt like it could have even crept in as early as game one, where you started to see those things kind of take place. So that's interesting. And yeah, I mean, you think about all the hype that was going into that game. I mean, everyone was kind of picking West Virginia as like a trendy upset pick in week one against Penn State, and
Yeah,
for that to be the second half performance, of course, I mean the weather didn't really help the situation either when you had
yeah, yeah,
a two
yeah,
and a half hour delay, but. That's neither here or there. But anyways, let's move to the decision on Neal. So I don't want to put you in a tough spot here, but just give me your initial thoughts on West Virginia's decision to move on from him, your relationship with Neal, and
yeah.
kind of how you found out about this, and maybe when you started first getting the inkling that this could go down.
Um, the whole Neal Brown situation. I mean, rightfully, I'm a Neal Brown guy. Like he's had me around for a while. I mean, I've been stuck with his team. I've been Keating with his team, Keating with the state, Keating with the program. I've never gone anywhere else, never thought about going anywhere else. Even when I had the chances of people reaching out to me and checking me to different schools, I've turned that down. I've always been stuck to West Virginia. I think what Neal Brown did a really good job with after a while you start seeing less and less guys hit the portal, and that's the reason is because
Yeah.
because Neal Brown he does really good job with making us like feel loved and makes us feel like he cares for us outside of football, and that was the biggest thing. And I think what really went down was I think when things the decision to make to go away from Neal Brown was I understood it because I understand it's a business. At the end of the day, when things aren't being like when the product on the field isn't aligning with how the fans feel and how everything is feeling, like we're West Virginia's a state that prides upon winning and it wants to win, wants to get back to that state of winning. And I understand that at the end of after the Texas Tech game, I kind of understood like, okay, this is the possibility of what could go down. And
Hmm.
we all kind of understood what was happening. We seen what the fans were saying. We also understand the fans are talking.
Was
So
it tough to block that noise out like all season long? Because I mean, the fans were at the players, at the coaches,
yeah,
seemingly all season long. Was that hard to block out as a player?
oh, yeah, it's for sure. It's hard because when we go out there, we play, we go out there, we give away Thanksgivings,
Oh yeah.
Christmases, chances with our family. We only get what I would say maybe I calculated we probably get 5 weeks off out of a year that we spend on ourselves and get our mental health right. We spend that rest of the year playing for West Virginia with their West Virginia across our chest, playing our hearts out every single day. We go to these workouts, every single day, getting 6 a.m. days, 5 a.m. days, long days, film study, putting in body work and all this stuff like that. It just feels like your own parents are like stabbing your back, or you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's just like because you do so much for them, and it's just crazy because you feel like, you
You're still
know,
letting them down in a
yeah,
way.
you feel like you're letting
That's
them
the
down,
feeling.
and you just want and you also want them to understand like you're trying your best out there. You're putting your body on the line, and you just want to. You're playing hard for them. Sometimes when I get people get after me, and sometimes I get upset, mainly because like I've done so much for the state. I've worked my ass off for the state. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I could have left and went to different schools and did different things in my life, but I decided to stay here because I love the state of West Virginia. You know what I mean? And I feel like our fans should understand that like these guys are staying here and sticking it out and trying their best and doing all these things. We get on this field, we don't get on the field trying to disappoint anybody. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
We try to make you guys proud every single time we go out there, and we get upset just as much as they get upset when we lose. You know what I mean? Like we don't understand. Like I think some people forget that we also hate losing as well. Like
Yeah.
we don't want to lose. You know what I mean?
If
And we don't
anything,
go
like
out.
Neil has said multiple times, like no one wants to win more than the players and the coaches and everybody in that building.
Yeah,
Like that's
yeah,
the fans for a reason. They're allowed to have a voice, but there's a point where you can't make it personal. And I think at times maybe it kind of got to that point.
yeah,
But moving to Rich Rod, so obviously things were moving quickly after the Texas Tech game. Again, you guys were quickly preparing to play an early bowl game against Memphis. So I don't know what that interaction was like. Obviously,
yeah.
he met with the team. Did you get to have any conversations with Rich Rod? And if not, what is your just overall thoughts on him returning as the head coach?
Um, about that, like I never really got to interact with him that much based on the fact that I mean I've only heard things from what other guys have told me.
Yeah.
I probably spoke to him maybe legit a couple words. Um, I never really had a chance to go speak to him. Um, I think I think a lot of people also forget like a lot of the guys on the team like we got very a melting pot of people from different areas. And also, like a lot of guys on the team, like now, I'm an old guy. Like I was born in 2001. A lot of these guys were born in 2005 and 2006. Like, a lot of guys don't know who Rich Rod
Yeah.
even is. So, like, I mean,
They were in diapers when Pat White
yeah,
was
that's what
around.
I'm saying. Like, yeah, they had no clue. So, like, when people talk about Rich Rod, like, I guess people in the state, like, they're from here and understand the whole magnitude of it. You know what I mean? A lot of guys on the team don't really understand it because a lot of guys don't even like they're barely even understanding what life is for themselves. So, I mean. And it's really hard when your head coach that recruited you in, like when he leaves, you know what I mean? It just feels you're in that weird like that twilight zone of like, should I
What do I do?
stay or should I go with the coach or you know what I mean? And I think a lot of fans get it mixed up. Like people like hate Rich Rod or they hate West Virginia. It's just more of the fact that it's like if you have just imagine this. You have divorced parents. One of your parents moves out of the state. Now you're sitting there like in the twilight zone, like, do I stay here or do I go follow this other parent? Like, you know what I mean? It's just you really don't. It's just kind of you're in that weird twilight zone. So and like a lot of people getting mad at these guys and hitting the portal and going and following coaches, but it's like that's just how kind of like how it's gonna be. You know what I mean? It's not just us. Not
Yeah.
only exclusive to us. Like it's happening other places. And like just guys that are sticking around is and you guys have a good nucleus of kids that's sticking around right now, and you can build off that and NIL and revenue sharing and all that stuff. You guys have that in the back pocket. Like, you know what I mean? It's not like how it is 2021, 2022. Like it's not like it's not detrimental to the program. But you guys can get guys back. I know Rich Rod talked about he's going to get guys back. I
Yeah.
have nothing negative really to say against the guy. I never really interacted with him that much. And he just, what I mean, he just talked about. I kind of talked to him after the bowl game. He just talked about how hard we fought and stuff like that, and said I went out there and fought hard and talking about my play per se. You know what I mean? So, you know, I really had. I mean, I think the state, as long as the state's happy, then I'm happy. You know what I mean? If people want him Rich Rod back, then it's fine.
Yeah, who would
Um,
have thought about this? I mean, obviously you don't have the deep ties to West Virginia. Like, obviously you've been here for the last, half decade or so, but you didn't grow up a
yeah,
Mountaineer fan. So, but it is kind of crazy to think that he is back, maybe even 2 months ago. If you would have asked a West Virginia fan, do you want Rich Rodriguez back? Like, nah, not really. But now it's like, hey,
yeah,
he's the guy. Let's move forward. But anyways, one of the biggest reasons I actually wanted to get you on here because I saw you had some interactions with some fans, and I wanted to get you the platform right here to kind of air it out and kind of
yeah,
get it off your chest about the players hitting the portal, which you kind of already touched on. But I think it makes a lot of sense for somebody that's been in the program, kind of knows what's going on, knows what
yeah,
this era is like, dealing with that NIL, teams hitting you up, even though you're not in the portal. Like, it's a lot
yeah,
of craziness. It's the wild, wild west.
yeah.
What is it like for those kids right now that are in this transition from going from a Neal Brown head coach team to a Rich Rodriguez coach team? And when you see all these different players hitting the portal, some guys may enter the portal and they may come back. Do you feel like that could be some of the case there too? Some of these guys just want to see what their value is.
I mean, yeah, because right now, so I was able to get to play before and then after NIL. Like I had that weird state. I was in that weird state of where things were changing. I mean, it's. I think a lot of people should look at it in a different a different perspective because if I'm in that kid, if I'm an 18-year-old kid, 19-year-old kid, right? My head coach just left. What I mean, what I mean, like, a lot of things are changing. A lot of things are people throwing money at you. It's really hard. It's really hard not to want to see what your options are and right
Right.
now on the stage because you want to see your options. You want to see where you line up. You want to see those things. You know what I mean? It's not a knock against your former school because you want to go see how much is somebody's offering you. A lot of these kids, I mean, a lot of people, these kids if it wasn't for football, they wouldn't be able to get to college because they couldn't afford it. And
Yeah.
now they're telling me, hey, I'm giving you $250,000. Hey, I'm giving you a
It's
half a
pretty
million
hard to
dollars.
pass up.
It's really hard to not want to see your options. And it's at a good school as well. It's really hard not to see your options. And I'm not saying that West Virginia is not offering these things or giving you these resources. It's just going to be hard when the coach that you committed to is also leaving. So now you're like, okay, now I should also go see my options. I
Yeah.
shouldn't I shouldn't cut off my arms and be like, okay, I'm gonna stick with him now. And you don't even know your options. You don't know where this coach even has you at, or if you even fit schematic wise, or you know what I mean. Like if I'm a pocket quarterback, I wouldn't stay in the system
Yeah.
because you know you can't run. I'm not gonna sit here and cut my feet off because you know what I mean. I feel like I should be no. As a player, you should go see what you want out of life and what you are and where you want to be at. You know what I mean? And day, he went back to Florida. He's a Florida kid. You know what I
And he
mean?
was
Like
committed to UCF initially too. I
yeah,
think a lot of
exactly.
people
So
forget.
it's like you can't get mad at him for going back home
Yeah.
after the whole coaching change. The coach brought him there is not there anymore. So you can't get mad at him for going back home. You know what I mean? And some people get mad at Tomas when Tomas like he came in under Coach Moore and Coach Moore gets a job maybe what 4 hours south.
Yeah.
It's basically he's an Ohio kid. He likes being in Ohio. Like it's still a close drive. He doesn't want to go nowhere big. He's going with a coach that he knows. Like it makes sense for him. So like I think people should just look at it and like it's more of a business move now because I mean coaches are able to leave left and right and I think we're getting tools back to the player, which is great. The only problem I have with this whole system is just the transfer portal, and there's when it opens and it closes. I think that they put players at weird positions because now they're putting them up for in situations where they have to leave their team
The bowl game.
before the bowl game
Yeah.
and all kinds of weird stuff. I think it's just the portal when it opens and it closes. That's when it hurts the players the most because it gives a weird perception of how players are. Because like people get mad at that Penn State backup quarterback for leaving, but he had to leave.
Yeah. Or
The
else he's
team
not
had
going to have
yeah,
nowhere to go.
he had to leave. So a lot of people, I think people just give him weird flack. I think people should just look at it subjectively because, I mean, guys are gonna come to West Virginia, guys are gonna leave West Virginia, but at the end of the day, like none of these guys are leaving was like, I hate West Virginia, I hate this place. It was just more like I had to go see my options. I had to go see where I can go my best fit based on the fact my coach left, and now I have to go see my best fit. I'm pretty sure Rich Rod had conversations with these guys. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It was, you know what I mean? I don't know these conversations. Conversations could have been, hey, I think it's better off you going somewhere else, or hey, like I think you should say come back, or hey, I don't really know these conversations. You know what I mean? I think you should just look at it, take it with a grain of salt, and just kind of just, you know what I mean? But like coming at the players personally, that's just like these people aren't soft or bad character people or low morale people, low moral people, um, very low ethic people, just because they want to go um see where they fit in life. I think that's just
Yeah.
you can't come at kids for seeing where they fit in life. If you go into a business, right, and a new business offers you, I'm gonna give you a pay raise, and this is the job position you want to play at, you're gonna go take that job position every single day of the week. If it requires you to move out of West Virginia, you're gonna take that job. Hey, I'm offering you a job to come here in Tennessee. I'm gonna give you a 20% pay raise, and I'm gonna give you a better job title. And
Where are
nine
the
out of ten
papers at?
9 in 10 people are going to sign that and move every single time. So you can't get mad at for these players for wanting to better them lives and better their family situations.
Yeah, I mean, I completely agree. And I think the one thing too that gets lost in is, and like you did kind of mention with the scheme thing, specifically with offensive linemen. And it's not to say that Tomas Remat can't do it or Kyle Altuner can't do it, but you're talking about a whole different style, a whole different pace of offense that Rich Rod is going to want to play at. And maybe, especially maybe more so for Tomas, like he's at the point in his career, you don't really want to completely shift into your last year of eligibility before you go to
Oh,
the
yeah.
NFL and try to learn something new. You want to continue to do what you've done really well and put that on tape. So
Yeah.
it makes a lot of sense. But lastly, before we get you out of here, just your thoughts on kind of where the state of the program is, even with the transition. There's a lot of talk, from Ren Baker and a lot of others that they feel like the WVU is going to be in a good spot resource wise. Obviously, you have the big boosters now behind Rich Rod and stuff. But what do you feel like is the ceiling for West Virginia in this era of college football?
Um, I mean, with this era of college football, like anything's really possible. You see me run the NCAA, like a lot of things can change within a year or a couple years. I think our importance right now for the program is just really just trying to find a really strong nucleus. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Go to the talk of the team, like see who's going to be the leaders of the team, who's going to be the guys. You know what I mean? So I think that's really how you can develop a team. Like when I came in, my class, so we had a strong nucleus of people, but like kids were leaving left and right, and I think a lot of us stayed around um, and really helped out in this locker room to just change up the locker room. That was our biggest problem in the beginning. Like we had different kind of personalities, and we just needed to get to guys that really was in the same to try to buy into the whole state and the program and everything. And I think if you find a strong nucleus, then you can find a lot the better team can get better. And that's when the 2023 team it had a really strong nucleus and players that wanted to be there and really strong buy-in. And things were really, really good. And those guys left and it kind of hurt us in 2020 in this last season. There's a lot of those nucleus players left, and what the portal is, it's really hard to get people that's gonna melt like gel together.
Coming
You
from all
know,
different sorts of places,
yeah. So
different schemes.
that's the hardest part about the transfer portal. So I think right now, like we got all these resources in the world. We got a lot of alumni coming back and really buying in and really trying to help out this the program, which is really really good. I think we I think only criticism that I had against that is just I think they should have been here a lot sooner
Yeah,
and things would have probably been a little bit different.
absolutely.
I think they should have came back sooner. I think if we had that support for the last couple of years before that, I think a lot of things would have changed. But I can't get really mad at it. You know what I mean? If that's the timing you want to come in, that's the time you want to come in. Can't really get too mad about that. But I just hope they continue to support and continue to get these players to come here and come to West Virginia and really support West Virginia. But I think they're going to be a good spot. Um, I don't know when this portal closes. I heard it closes in the next couple of days. But
Yeah,
I think that right now, I mean, most of the teams right now understand that this isn't going to be their full team. Their full team's not going to come until after the spring. So I won't worry about a lot of guys not committing and a lot of guys not coming here. I think you just go out throughout this winter. You know what I mean, and establish those nucleus players, and then we get after the spring, you can go get those guys, and then go throughout summer, and then you see how the season goes. But I think West Virginia's going to be a good spot, as long as the donors buy in and everybody's on one record, and as long as everybody's on the path to support the program, then I think the good things will come. I think if you less worry about guys leaving, more you worry about the guys that's there, I think the program's going to be in a good spot.
yeah. Alignment is a big thing. I know that from covering the Carolina Panthers for a few years. And if you're not aligned, a lot of things can go sideways. So,
Yeah.
Brandon, I appreciate you so much for hopping on here, chopping it up with me. I appreciate it. Good luck this offseason, preparing for the NFL, and maybe we'll get you back on here in the future.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Then that is West Virginia offensive lineman Brandon Yates. Again, make sure you hit that subscribe button here to our YouTube page at West Virginia on SI and give us a follow on X at SI_WVU. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you back here on Tuesday for another episode of BTE.